first, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
And hello, everyone. Welcome back to Fox 12 Now. Again, appreciate you joining us here. We live stream every weekday here from the Fox 12 Oregon headquarters. The newsroom, which is where this desk is. We are on YouTube, Facebook, our apps, and our website. And so we appreciate you joining us. We cover a wide range of topics on here, but this is one I'm very happy to be having here, a discussion that we're going to be having with U.S. Representative Marie Gluesenkamp Perez about a few different things. And I think without further ado, let's go ahead and bring her on. We're here with us right now. And Representative, really appreciate you joining us and being here on the show. And I know that you're very busy, so appreciate your time joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Greg.
So I think to start off, you're entering here into your second year, going to Congress, a huge step, and just everything that's involved with that. And I think to start off, how has it been? How are you feeling? What's your experiences been like over this time?
I think we're 13 months in and it has been wild. I think there actually are a lot of relevant things from running an auto repair shop, which is what I did before this with my husband, right? You're in the community, you are hearing from folks like the seniors living in their vans because their rent is too high, or people having their catalytic converters stolen. So things that are still very oriented around like the day-to-day life and how do we actually get it making people's lives better, supporting them, making government work better for Southwest Washington.
Yeah, and all those things are issues that people are dealing, and it seems like, that's even a lot of that are even national issues that people are dealing with as well, but particularly there in Southwest Washington for your district. One thing, just talking about, being there in Congress, how have you found it to be working with your essentially your coworkers, your co-representatives there? How has that experience been? I mean, obviously, we all see, a lot of division that happens, but what's your day-to-day experience with that?
Oh, they're crazy. Yeah. It's not just for TV. There are a lot of really good people who are real patriots on both sides of the aisle, but it is also really hard to see how many people will put personal or political gain above doing what's right for our country. That is really sad to see. But it's also, I feel like there are not that many people here with my experience. Sometimes I look around like how many people have, tried to actually run a small business, a small business, or worked in the trades, or tried to get a spot in daycare, or things like that. So it's a little bit alienating to see that, but it's also, it also makes me really grateful for the opportunity to represent just normal people here.
Right, and with those experiences that you mentioned. Something else, that I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this up here, and I want to get to some other agendas as well, but some things that you're working on. But yesterday, depending on when people are watching this, there was a vote attempt to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas, and you voted against that. I wondered if you could tell us your thoughts on that being brought forward, on that vote initiative being brought forward, and your experiences and thoughts on this going forward.
Yeah, it was really, again, it's frustrating to see. So Mayorkas's job is to actually implement whatever the policy is. Like, he doesn't set policy, he implements it. Congress is the one that's supposed to be setting policy, and they're not. They are really interested in a political football and getting people mad and getting donations to their campaigns. We could have passed a real border bill, and instead we chose to impeach Mayorkas. I'm not going to carry water for the administration. I disagree with a lot of their choices and action, but Congress had the opportunity to put forward a real border bill, and instead we wasted time with a lot of political theater around Mayorkas, and that's it's a symptom. It's not the problem.
And going from this, what's happening with Mayorkas, obviously we're at the beginning of the year. This is a big election year, no secret on that. And with some of the divisions that we see, do you see any hope of working across the aisle, or maybe with your political opponents, on passing any kind of legislation for this year?
Yeah, I mean, anybody that is willing to actually pass real legislation is not my opponent. Like, I will work with anyone that is serious about fixing things. Maybe this is naive, but I'm like, maybe after they try all the theatrics, they will try actually passing laws. But that's one hope. I do think there are people that are, Republicans like Dan Newhouse. He's got also has a really big agricultural community, and so he takes a lot of the ag and immigration policy very seriously. I think folks like that we share a lot of the same perspectives and emphasis, but leadership has really gotten in the way of delivering on things that would actually fix some of these issues.
Looking at some of the things that you've advocated for, I know we've just got a few minutes, so I want to make sure that we get to this. Talking about here locally, something that affects the entire region and even beyond, but Southwest Washington and Northwest Oregon for sure. I'm talking about the I-5 replacement bridge plan, something that's been worked on for a long time, and it seems to still always be pushed out. But I wondered if you could talk to us about some of the funding that you secured for the I-5 bridge replacement and how that can actually maybe pick things up to get this replacement in the process.
Yeah, we are really excited about some of the federal dollars we're seeing to come in. $600 million, nothing to, laugh at. It's a real opportunity. When I have I have a 2.5-year-old, like when he's in the car, I don't drive on the I-5 bridge. It is 106, 107 years old. It's in disrepair. And I think a lot, right? So there's sort of the actual burden of sitting in traffic on a bridge that's not safe. But there's also the sort of like psychological stress of living in a country where we feel like our critical infrastructure is just crumbling and people don't care. I mean, this is a country that used to really make things that last and really believed in supporting the trades and building assets for the next generation. And I really want to be part of the team that is working to get us back there, to actually build things and to ease congestion. So we're not sitting in traffic. We are getting home to coach Little League or, make it to Bible study, whatever it is. Traffic and congestion is a real robber of time with family. And so I'm really excited that we were able to, Greg, it was like a dogfight to get this money home. There were so many, all across America, people are fighting for these dollars. And I think it's a testament to the dedication of our local partners, but also the necessity of the project that we were able to secure these dollars. It was the largest grant awarded. So we were really excited about these dollars.
Definitely a big step there with $600 million coming in. And, I guess my other question to follow that up is, that with this step being made, what are the next steps that need to happen or obstacles that need to be overcome in order to continue down the process and actually get something in action?
Yeah, so there are more federal grants that we're going to be going after. I mean, I am really being a pit bull to bring as many of our federal tax dollars back home to Southwest Washington and make sure that we don't get overlooked. I feel like sometimes that happens. So I have really, had my elbows out for Southwest Washington on these, and I will continue to fight for those grants. And then, at a more local level, like our local partners, they still have some decisions to be made about, what color the bridge is going to be, like timelines, how, like implementation, those things that I think it's important for federal representatives to stay in their lane on some of these things and let local partners take the lead. But I'm here to make sure that we get the full consideration and make the strongest case to bring back our tax dollars.
And I think for, just my final thing here too, just to talk to you about, you've been here, as you mentioned, just over a year, 13 months. Going into this year, what would you personally like to see accomplished in this next year?
Well, there's sort of the very low bar of keeping the government open. Like, we are the largest economy, and we don't have a budget. We are operating on a month-to-month basis. And that really wigs out a lot of people, especially anybody that's trying to run a business or balance a bank account or, so those are sort of the nearer terms. I'm on the ag committee, so the farm bill is really important, ensuring that we are, right now we're importing approximately 40% of our fresh fruits and vegetables. And that is a real problem for me. So doing the work to support local agriculture, small farms, not just the big players, but the whole ecosystem of food. I think that's a big part of health. And, one of the big reasons I came here was a focus on career and technical education, like getting shop classes back and strong in high schools. And I think junior high also is really important. Supporting our kids that are gifted mechanically, not just, the academic side, but all of the forms of intelligence that kids can be blessed with. And so, right to repair, those issues are really important to folks that work in the trades, that drive used cars, that use, like to keep their washing machine alive for decades, like me. So those are the things that I think are ultimately going to rebuild American manufacturing, rebuild family wage jobs, and ultimately be the ticket out of the inflationary cycles we've seen.
So that's a lot to hope for. So, that's a lot to go for. Do you have optimism that some of those things can be passed here over this next year, or do we have to wait until next year after this election cycle?
I think there's room for this year. It's going to take work. A lot of the stuff are things that my colleagues aren't talking about as much, particularly on the trade side and the shop classes, things like that. Like there hasn't been as much attention to that, and it really is cultural change to reemphasize that. But I feel like we're making really good progress in making this a real kitchen table issue and something that people are talking about in DC, because they're talking about it where I live and the communities I'm part of.
Do you think trade schools are a good way to go for, continuing education and switching gears in careers here going forward as we see so many other things changing?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I loved working the trades, like the independence that you have actually fixing things, and, to be clear, like, you don't get electrification without electricians and linemen, and so I feel like the emphasis on just college and credentialing really misses the boat on what our actual abilities are. It's a shortcut that's shortchanged a lot of people. So and anybody out there, if you're thinking about grad school of the trades, man, I'm here to tell you that the trades has been a really great. That's been a great path for a lot of my friends and family.
Well, Representative, thank you very much, for joining me here just to have this discussion and just to talk about these issues, that are affecting you and Southwest Washington and even the country as a whole. So, I appreciate your honesty and having some time to share with us here, because I know you're very busy.
Yeah.
So,
Very glad to talk.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us here on Fox 12 Now. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Greg. We'll see you.
All right, sounds good. And again, these are some of the discussions that we get to have here with Fox 12 Now, so I appreciate all of you who are joining us and watching. If this is your first time, we cover a wide range of segments and newsworthy items, or sometimes it's events. I'm just saying we cover a lot of things on here. So I really appreciate the representative joining us here for this. And we do have all of our segments that you can watch on YouTube, on Facebook, on the apps, the Fox 12 Oregon apps or the website. So please go there and check those out. You can share those as well. If you have an idea for a segment, feel free to email me, fox12now@kptv.com. And as usual, if there's breaking news between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m., I will be here with that. So this is the place to go wherever you're watching me. We will bring you whatever that breaking news is and give you as many details as we can, as quick as we can. So this is why we're here. We can do that, and I appreciate you being a part of it. But I'll sign off for right now. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.